Yeah, that's the name, bike vendor of that. And we have two products, a mountain bike and a road bike. This is a simple website that have a couple of images of the products that we have and how the customers can reach out to us. There is an option to send an email from here, fill out a form and email. And as you notice, there is a chat widget. And this is the one that we are interested in here. So this is something that we have built using customer service Omnichannel Dynamics 365, obviously. And we were able to embed this chat script in the website. Actually, it takes like less than 2 minutes to do all that, to set up the website and add the chat widget. So I did that, and let's take a look at the chat widget here. So this is how the chat widget looks like without any customizations out of box. And obviously, we have an option to customize how the chat widget will look like on your website when we, when we build the chat widget for you guys. And so when I click on that, so this will show me the chat widget and all the questions that, this is the customer's view of the chat widget, right? So that when the customer launches the chat widget, we have here, in this case at least, we have a few pre-chat survey questions. So they will be submitting the answers here. So let's say this is the name and account number. So in our case, we are using the name to find the customer, but usually, in some cases, we can use the account number or any unique identifier that will help us identify the customer that we are talking to. So any account number here, and briefly describe the issue that they're having. So I have a problem with the bike. The tire seems to be, flattening out. Yep. And I hit the submit here. That will basically means that I have initiated a chat conversation with the customer service team of this company. And so here, and let's spend a moment here to take a look at what are all the options that are available. Oh, look at that. So an agent has been assigned, will be joining you shortly. This is an automatic message that you can configure. So saying that as soon as the chat is delivered to Omnichannel customer service, so this is automated message. So pretty soon someone will be here. And as for the options that are available here, you can see this attachment button. You can upload a file, images, and any thing that will help the agent understand the issue. Obviously, you have an option to download the chat transcript, and then send button, and also this chime notification. You can either turn off the window or turn off the sound or turn on the sound. So let's say we have a message, hello, I have an issue with my bike. And so any agent, so this is the message that is delivered to customer service. So we don't know who the agent will be at this point, and the customer need not know, right? So we will have multiple agents on the system side, and one of the agents will pick up this message. So Ali, are we ready for showing the customer agent screen now?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm sharing my screen too, I'll talk a little bit about that mute and unmute just from my personal experience, because it makes me laugh. The chime from the chats always annoys me. But then when I turn it off, I always forget to respond to my agent that I'm chatting with.
Yeah.
So it's like a double-edged sword. I have learned that I'm a person that needs to leave on the chime so I can make sure I'm actually responding to my chats in a timely manner. All right, so you all should be seeing my screen. I am our customer service representative who's using the customer service workspace application. And you can see in the upper right-hand corner of my screen, I'm currently getting a chat request from Phil Dunphy. If you saw it really quickly, it counted down to 0. So there's a timer on it for 120 seconds and it went away. I'm the only support person signed in right now, so it just got rerouted to me. No big deal if I'm unavailable and it needs to go to somebody else because I don't get to it within that 120 second mark. It'll go over to somebody else and they can answer it as well. And that countdown time is configurable, so you can set that to be what you need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click that accept button. If I were to click reject, like perhaps I wasn't actually ready to take this conversation, I can hit reject. And again, it's going to route it to somebody else who's available within my organization. If nobody's available, it'll hang out there, it'll wait. And then when somebody does become available because their capacity frees up, which basically means they're not working with a customer or they're not working with a specified number of customers that you preset for your organization, then it'll just pop up for somebody when somebody is available. So on my screen, this is what the screen looks like after I take that conversation, after I accepted it. And you can see right away, I have the message that Phil sent me. So you can see that over in the left-hand side here is our live chat pane that we have with that customer. Also, if I scroll down in the middle here, you can see that pre-chat survey that was filled out for us. So all those questions that were filled out in advance of this customer reaching out to us will show up here. So again, we mentioned this earlier, don't make your customers repeat things. This is the perfect way to do it, right? They filled out this survey for a reason. It's to provide your agents with information before they start talking with that customer. And I can see that right on my screen here. So I can see their name, I can see their account number. And on top of that, what's a really cool productivity feature is because there was an exact match on the name that they typed into that pre-chat survey, is look at that. It pulled up a customer and it automatically assigned this contact person to this conversation. So I didn't have to go back and say, I can't find your account, I can't find your information, can you please give me something else? It automatically pulled in this person, which is really cool. And that goes into what Bharath was talking about as well, is a lot of times there could be duplicate names out there. And by adding that additional field of customer number, it gives you that unique identifier that allows you to find your customer matches even quicker. So you can set that up for whatever is going to work best for your organization. All right. So on the left-hand side here, as I mentioned, I have a live chat going with this customer here. So I can see they have an issue with their bike. Couple of controls that are going on in this area, as you can see right away, the person I'm talking with, the amount of time I've been talking with, and currently their sentiment. So that sentiment is AI generated. It's really cool. It's going to be based off of keywords and phrases that a pre-trained algorithm is looking at to help identify whether it's positive, negative, slightly negative, and neutral sentiment. Most conversations start out with that neutral sentiment, and then as your customer is typing in positive words and phrases, it'll go up to positive. And if they're typing in negative words like I'm frustrated or you don't know what you're doing, then that sentiment's going to kind of drop down to negative there. Our goal for our agents is, of course, to keep that positive sentiment. You also have the end button for when you're done with your conversation, but for now we're going to direct our attention down to the bottom of the screen here, where we are going to begin typing messages to respond back to our customer. Another awesome productivity feature of this app is quick replies. So if you find yourself writing the same thing to your customers for every type of conversation that you're having, you can configure these quick replies down here, and it prevents your agents from having to type the same message over and over. And what's really cool about these quick replies is that they can have dynamic information in them. So you can type in, like you can see in this bottom example here, that it's saying first name customer. So this will actually pull in the first name of the customer that you have assigned to this conversation, and will pull in my first name as the agent. So again, cutting down on that amount of time that you spend typing. So you can see it populated, hello Phil, my name is Allie, and I'm here to help you today. Then I can hit enter or click the send button, and that message is going right back to Bharath/Phil on his screen over there.
I got a chime.
You got a chime, good.
All right. Sharing my screen again to show the messages.
Sure.
Okay, so here's the message that Ali sent us. So as you can see here, nowhere in this window, I gave the name Phil to her. It was picking from the pre-chat survey and then identifying the customer from there, and then using the customer name to resolve this message from Ali. And also another important thing that I want to highlight here is this. So we have an automated message. We can configure notifications like this. Yep. Whenever an agent has joined a conversation, you can notify your customer saying that, hey, your wait is over. An agent is here to help you now. So this is the message that we got from the platform. And sure. Okay. I'm going to make a brochure.
Yeah, go ahead. And what was cool about that too is I don't know if everybody saw it, but as the agent's typing, you can see that little pop-up of so-and-so is typing, right? It's just like the texting that you're used to seeing on your phone and everything. Now that Bharath is typing, I can see on my screen that the customer is typing a message to me too. So it truly works just like a live chat, both directions. And as the agent, I may just want some additional context from him because what he told me about his issue might not be enough for me to help troubleshoot his problem.
So I am making it sound like the issue is frustrating right now, just to see how the sentiment evolves for the conversation. So 208 sent SMS, sent chat.
I love it. All right, let's take a look at that agent side again. So now as the agent, am pulling up my customer service workspace again, and you can see the chat again, it's live, right? So there's no delay. We're literally going back and forth and sharing our screen here live. And you can see Bharath's frustration came through. He's now slightly negative. So that's an example of those keywords on how the application can pick that up. And so Bharath was mentioning this earlier too with the supervisor barging. So what we love about this is that supervisors can keep an eye on that sentiment. And if they see that sentiment creeping up, they can start monitoring the conversations. The customer doesn't need to know that they're there, right? They can just kind of keep an eye on those conversations, see what's happening, and chat with the agent on the side too, and ask if they need additional support and kind of guide them through that conversation. So it's more proactive instead of waiting for that sentiment to get like extremely negative and then coming in for help. They can kind of identify slightly negative. Oh boy, I need help out here. Let me see what's going on. And they can choose to step in if they need to as well. So I love it. Sentiment is very helpful for multiple reasons. All right, so some other controls on the screen. We talked about the quick replies. You can consult. So this is another option as well. We don't have any other agents pulled in at the moment into our queue that's available. But if you did have other teammates who are working within your application and you're like, oh, hey, I saw Bharath was working on a similar case. I have some questions for him. You can consult. And again, you can do that on the side so that customer doesn't know who you're all talking to, right? It's all kind of a side conversation that's taking place. You also have the option to transfer your chat. So same thing, if I have other agents available, like maybe someone calls in and says, I was talking to Bharath before. I don't want to talk to you. I want to continue my conversation with him. You can say, great, totally understand that. I know you don't want to explain yourself to me again, or you don't want me to, or wait for me to look up the chat history, any of that. You can just go ahead and transfer them over to the person that they were dealing with before, just to get that quicker resolution as well. That's where you can also transfer them to a supervisor if needed as well. So also on these screens, you can take some general notes, and there are Copilot capabilities, which is really cool as well. So we talked about this earlier on, where now with Copilot available, you don't really have to go through and scroll and read through that entire conversation, especially if it was a long one before it got transferred over to you. You can use that Copilot summarize conversation button, and it's just going to make it in a nice short paragraph for you, a couple sentences to tell you everything that's been going on. So you can see here, this is their recurring issue. Despite multiple attempts, they would like a prompt resolution to a frustrating problem. So really nice summary there, and that really helps when those conversations start to get long, so your agents don't have to go through and read through the entire chat history anymore. Likewise, you can provide attachments if you need to. So now that I'm working with my customer on this screen here, there are some other actions that I can take on the rest of this conversation pane. So what's taking place is over on the right-hand side here, I have the option to create a new case. So if I wanted to start the case creation process, because, you know, this is migrated beyond a conversation, this is something that needs some further action taken, I can fill out the case details right within this pane. You can see it all still working within the single tab experience, which is wonderful. And I can start typing out some details with this case. And I'm using that same language. Tire keeps flattening. I feel like we should say there's a flat tire, but tire keeps flattening. We'll roll with that. I can put down some additional case details. And again, this form is completely configurable for your organization. So by putting the key information on here, that's going to be applicable to your organization. Some of the other buttons that are on the right-hand side of the pane over here is we've got a Teams chat that can be embedded. So again, just bringing your collaboration tools all into one place. If you need to Teams chat with somebody on the side within your organization, you can use that. We've also got Smart Assist that will help me match if any knowledge articles or similar cases have occurred with similar descriptions in the past. You also have agent scripting, which will take you step by step through parts that your agents should be working through within the case. Agent scripts I find particularly helpful for new customer service agents, that you can say, start here, go through these different steps in order to work through the resolution of the case, which is really helpful.
Yep, this is especially helpful if you're talking about like a insurance eligibility scenarios where you will have to do like 10 different checks before you tell someone that, hey, you are eligible for this, or this is a valid scenario. So those agent script will be especially useful in those situations.
I love that, right? So now they don't have to use a spreadsheet to keep track of everything that they're supposed to do, right? Or like a checklist on a Post-it note. It's truly like in the system saying, do these things. I love it. All right, the last one here are knowledge articles. So I could search for knowledge articles, or you also have your favorites. And you can see if I come to my favorites, I must use this article a lot because I favorited it. And it's giving me some advice on puncture in a tire ring. So perhaps there's some information that's causing a puncture in the tire ring that needs some assistance. So I could come in here and view this knowledge article and perhaps get some additional information that I can either send to the customer or help me resolve this issue. All right, so I'm going to go back to my case that I have here. I can save and resolve or save and close if this needs further resolution. If I wanted to save and resolve this case directly from here, which is a great one-stop shop, right? Your goal is to resolve the case within your first conversation with the customer. So if I'm able to do that, then what happens is my resolution screen is prompting. It's saying, what is the resolution type? I can say I solved their problem. What was the resolution? I can say, there is a manufacturer defect in that type, defect in that type of tube. We shipped them a new tube. Also, what is a new feature within this application is proposing a new knowledge article for this case. So if you turn on this setting, then what's really cool is you can choose to have that checkbox show up there. And when I go to resolve the case, it's prompting your agents right away to create a new knowledge article. And why that's really cool is because when you're busy in a customer service organization, like tons of companies tend to be, it can be really hard, or you might forget when you're done with an issue to say, oh yeah, I should create a knowledge case so we can use that again in the future. But by doing it right here, you don't have to remember to do that extra step. The system is going to help you out right away. So I'm going to click resolve there, and my case is created in the background and is getting resolved directly immediately. So I don't need to do another step of resolving it. All right, if I'm finished with this conversation, well, I am going to click this end button, and it is going to end my conversation here. If I'm truly finished with this from here, I can go ahead and close out of my session. It's going to close it, and I'm returned to my customer service agent dashboard here, where I can see a list of all of my other cases that have been opened, if I need to resolve them, or perhaps other cases that have come in through other agents that need to be worked. Or I can come into this ongoing conversations dashboard to see what conversations are open with my coworkers. So there's a couple other things happening within the application here once I close out of that conversation. So I can go ahead and I can follow up immediately from on another conversation. However, we're a busy customer service organization, and I'm getting another conversation right away. This one you can see looks a little different. Yeah, go ahead, Bharath.
No, this is an SMS, yeah.
Perfect, yep. So you can see this one's a little bit different, where the other one said chat request from Phil Dunphy. This one is saying SMS request. So where that other one was an embedded chat on the website, this one is actually a text message. And you can see it appears to be the exact same interface as that chat. So again, making it really easy on your customer service agents. When that text comes in, you can see our provider that we have example up here is Twilio, and it looks exactly the same. So this is somebody, there wasn't a pre-conversation survey on this one because it didn't come in through the web portal or our website, but it allows you to see the transcript exactly as if you were doing that web chat. So very similar experience. It brings our Omnichannel brings your chats, your conversations, your phone calls, your texts, all within one interface so your agents can work in one place.
Yeah. And another thing is an agent will be able to handle 2 different sessions at the same time, multiple sessions. We can configure how many sessions an agent can handle at the same time. That is something that is called capacity. So we'll go over that later. But the summary is agent will be able to handle multiple channels irrespective of how the customer reaches out.
Perfect. All right. So with that, we took you through how it looks from a customer perspective on the website to do a chat, and we took you through the agent experience through the customer service workspace with the multi-session experience that Bharath was just talking about. With the few minutes that we have left here, we wanted to guide you through a little bit of the back end. So we're pulling back the curtain. We're showing you what the Customer Service Admin Center, which is another app within Dynamics 365. So we're going to show you a little bit in there and show you how we made the magic happen on the screens that we were just showing you. So Bharath, take her away.
So this is the Customer Service Admin Center where we will be configuring all the channels and the workstream, all the background details here. So that will enable the agent to handle the interactions from the customer. So first thing we want to take a look at is the workstreams here. So workstreams, think of it like a container to put all the agent behavior together. So how an interaction will be shown to the customer, shown to the agent. Like we saw earlier, that the notification was showing on Ali's screen for the agent. So that is something called push notification. So we're pushing the notifications to the agent, and you can also specify the behavior to be pick. So there will be a queue, and agents, once they become available, they can go and, here, push and pick. Those are the 2 options. Agent will pick the conversations, incoming conversations. I find the push more easy to demo because you have that nice notification. And again, we talked about capacity a little bit here earlier. So how many interactions a customer can handle at the same time, and how much. So this is like how much capacity of the agent should a work item take up. Like a chat could be taking 20 units of the capacity, and SMS could be taking maybe 30 units of the capacity. So based on that, agent, you can configure the maximum capacity. Let's think of it like 100, and based on that, the number of conversations that an agent can handle will be calculated. And then you have something called wrap up here. So especially when Ali was closing the chat conversations, she went through the wrap up process, case resolution process, notes taking, and probably she would want to create a knowledge article based on the steps she took to resolve the case. So that whole process is called wrap up, and you would want to block the agent capacity, whether you want to block the agent capacity for the wrap-up process or whether you make them available for the next conversation. This is the setting that will help us do that. And then obviously you have agent presence. When we go back to Ali's screen, we'll talk about that a little bit. So we'll have multiple options, similar to Teams screen here. So yeah. So busy, available. Yeah. So whenever an agent is handling a conversation, we mark them busy. And when they are available, so they're available for new conversation. So think about that. If you're talking about chat conversation, they could be handling multiple chat. They can handle multiple chat conversation. That means that sometimes they may be busy, but they could get a notification for a new chat conversation as well. Yep. And the work stream is where you would configure the routing rules, the session templates, like how the session should be shown to the agent. Earlier, we were using the same session for both SMS and chat. So the conversation panel on the left side with the customer details, case details, and the knowledge articles, and all the smart assist pane, productivity pane. And yeah, that's pretty much it here. Yeah. And next thing we want to talk about is the channels. So this is where you would configure the channel. So it could be a chat channel or a messaging channel. So chat is the live chat example that we saw earlier. And each channel will be associated with a work stream. And a work stream could be associated with multiple channels, meaning that here we are using the same work stream for chat and SMS because we want the behavior to be the same across both the channels. But depending on the business scenario, this could be implemented according to the customer's requirements here. And setting up these chat channels or any of these channels is pretty simple. We have guided channel setup that will give us like an example of how to do that. And in this case here, right, so we select the chat channel, and then if you click on the second tab, Ali, the chat widget. So this is the code that you would need. If on the right hand side you see this live widget 2.0 and script, right? So this is the chat that you would need to embed on your website. So, and when we saw the customer's view, the example of the website, so this is what I did. I copied the chat widget from here and embedded it into my customer website there. So that will give me the chat widget at the bottom of the website. So yeah, if you have a website, that a public website already, setting up the chat channel on the website is pretty simple. You would just configure the channel on the website and copy the script onto the website. That's about it. And then some of the configuration options that we have here are, behaviors. So we were looking at an example when the agent joins the conversation, we were getting a simple like automated SMS, automated message. So this is where we would configure that. And then second part is the pre-chat conversation survey. You saw the name, account number, and the issue, the simple description of the issue. So this is where you would do that. And yeah, and then you can do some color customizations as well. Oh, this is an important one. This is so if you are a busy customer service and you would want to, sometimes you want to show the agent, so that the agents are busy and the customer, the waiting time. So this is where you can configure that customer waiting time. You can see there, and you can show the position in the queue and average wait time, depending on whether you want to show them on